Welcome back everybody to Forza Horizon 5, and today we're taking a look at the 2018 Lotus Exige Cup 430. So this is part of the Series 3 of the Exige, the third and final series of the car, which lasted between 2012 and 2021. This was unveiled in 2017, and it's basically a lighter, more powerful and car that produces greater downforce than the Sport 380, which was the previous properly quick version of this car, and certainly more quicker than the Exige S, which started this Series 3 off in, which was a perfectly good car, but they've definitely been able to improve it in certain areas to where this car has just become gradually quicker, faster, lighter, and more fun to drive, basically. And yeah, they've achieved this with the car weighing less than the previous Sport 380 by £42, which is due to carbon fibre body panels, carbon fibre being used on the interior, and a titanium exhaust. And that also means it weighs £183 less than the Exige S, which from 2012, which we also have on this game. This also has a front splitter, rear wing and rear diffuser to produce more downforce than the previous two iterations of the car that I've already mentioned. In fact, it can produce a pretty reasonable 220 kilograms or 485 pounds of downforce, which is obviously a fair decent amount for a car that only weighs 2,410 pounds. So yeah, that's a pretty lightweight car, and it's rear wheel drive, got a 6-speed manual gearbox, and yeah, but the pièce de resistance of this car is the engine, which we'll look at now. So yeah, it's no different in terms of size than the previous engines that have been used in the Exige. So it's still a 3.5 litre supercharged V6 engine as per usual when it comes to these cars, but it now produces 430 horsepower and 324 pounds-feet of torque, so that's 85 horsepower more than the Exige S. It is also, I believe, yeah, it's 50 horsepower more than the 380, as given away by the number. And yeah, it's also got 29 extra pounds-feet of torque over the Exige S, and you couple that with the fact it obviously weighs less, and yeah, more power, less weight always means that that power is given a bit extra of a boost, I guess, in effect, because yeah, you're asking the engine to deal with a lot less in the way of weight while you're also improving the horsepower. Still got a modicum of rear boot space, as you can see, but it's, you know, not anywhere near as practical as the Evora, which shares the same engine as this. And you can see by the interior, it's definitely a bit more of a stripped out affair with those harnesses on the seats, which themselves look really rather quite thin. I imagine they'll still be comfortable, but they are definitely quite thin in comparison to, say, a normal Exige. And yeah, not the most luxurious interior, but everything's there that you could ever need in a car. And you've got some nice little aluminium chrome effect, well, aluminium metal being used in certain areas on the gear knob, on the dials and such. But it's more about the driving experience with Lotuses. It's not about being, you know, practical or, you know, usable on an everyday basis. It's more about, you know, the driving experience. And you can tell it's more about the driving experience with this car because you not only have a towing hook on the front, but you also have a towing hook on the back, and that's in case you go off the track and on a race course and end up in the gravel, basically, because yeah, this is definitely more track orientated than the standard Exige S or even the 380. So yeah, but nonetheless, let's get out onto the open road and see what this car can do. Right, so here we are at the drag strip, so let's see what this car can do before we hit the speed camera, and then we'll get it round the track. And I've just noticed a little bit of a detail in this. You can actually see the fans underneath the bonnet, or the front hood, or whatever you want to call it, basically spinning there. It's not a detail I noticed when originally driving this car, so that's a neat little detail there. So yeah, now obviously this car is not meant to really be focusing on acceleration or largely speed in the main. It's more of a car about handling and braking, but regardless of that, as you can see, it is not a slow car whatsoever. it's comfortably able to get up to nearly 140 miles an hour there. So yeah, which is not bad at all, and that just shows how well this car is using its power. Because it's not got the most amount of power by any means. There are far more powerful rear-wheel drive, mid-engine sports cars out there than this, but because it only weighs 2,410 pounds, the power it's got is just be able to use in a lot more of an efficient way. I mean, you compare it to that Hennessy Mammoth massive pickup truck thing, which has nearly 700 horsepower more than this, and yet this car is quicker to 60, quicker to 100, and yeah, it's no such in terms of its top speed either, which just shows that this car, because it weighs about 5,000 pounds less than that vehicle, is just using its power in a more efficient manner. Now, it does unfortunately look like the Rivals mode is down, has been for quite some time today, so yeah, we're only going to have to go in solo for this one. That means we are going to be up against other drivers, but still, these are the stats, which as you can see are really rather impressive, especially in terms of braking, launch, acceleration and handling. Speed's on the lower side of things just because of how much downforce this car generates the higher the speed goes, but it's still not bad at all. And you compare this in comparison to the Exige S, and you can see it's a complete walkover, quite frankly. It's even better apparently going off-road, only marginally though. But yeah, it's the braking, the launch, acceleration, the handling and the speed that are all improved, with the handling and braking being the biggest. Well, I'd say that, but then the acceleration and the launch are also better as well. And I think the launch is better just purely because it's got a better gearbox, it's got quicker shifts on this one than the Exige S, so yeah, it's able to use not just the power it had originally, like the Exige S, but the extra power in a more efficient manner. So yeah, unfortunately we're going to have to be up against other people because Rivals isn't working, but still, let's hear what the car sounds like and then we'll talk about it some more. So yeah, hope you could hear that properly, but yeah, it's an amazing sounding engine. It's a right screecher of an engine, up to 7,000 RPM, and then you add on top of that the supercharger whine, and yeah, it's just such a, you know, a noisy but, you know, in a satisfying and enjoyable way of a vehicle. And yeah, it's just the kind of thing you're really not going to see much of these days, to be honest, especially from Lotus, who obviously do seem to be going in a more of an electric manner, and I have no problem with that. I really do like electric vehicles, but there is little replacement for an engine like this, quite frankly. And yeah, that's especially so when you consider how quick this actually is in terms of acceleration. 0 to 60 is dealt with in only 3.2 seconds. 0 to 100 is dealt with in 8.080 seconds, and it goes to a top speed of 188 miles an hour, which is not bad at all. And yeah, you compare that to the Exige S, and that's 0.8 of a second quicker to 60. It's nearly 1.6 seconds quicker to 100, and it's 11 mile an hour quicker at the top end. So yeah, it's just a really, really fun car, this, especially when you get it up to speed, and that, you know, the rear spoiler, rear diffuser and the front splitter are all working in tandem to produce all of that downforce, and it just rips and goes without any issues whatsoever. And you have to really be prodding this car to get it to oversteer, you know, use a handbrake or going slow into a corner and then accelerate out of it and stuff like that to really get the rear end going, because yeah, it's just producing so much grip. Look at that, it's just 118 mile an hour around that corner, no issues whatsoever. So yeah, it's a fantastic car. This is the fourth car that has been added to this game due to the recent addition of this game to the PS5. But it's only the third of the four that I'm reviewing, because there's a Lamborghini Revolto that I've already reviewed in Forza Motorsport, so that's not going to get a review in this game because it's already you know, had one anyway already from me, so there's no need to do it again. But it is a great car and it's well worth getting if you haven't got your hands on it. You will see that in Extreme Off-Road Silly Builds at some point, just for the fun of it, and especially to see what it can do against the Huracan Storato. But yeah, this car's great, and yeah, it's about time that we had a more up-to-date Exige, quite frankly, because we've been stuck with that 2012 version for so long, and it's really, really nice to finally see what this car can do in its pretty much final hurrah as a nameplate, which, you know, has been around since what, late 90s, early 2000s or whatever. So yeah, it's really, really great to finally have it, and yeah, I highly recommend getting it if you haven't got your hands on it already, because it is a fantastic sports car. Really wish it was on Forza Motorsport though, because it is obviously a bit more focused towards the track than the road, but still, it works fantastically on this game, and it's a real hoot to drive. So yeah, nonetheless though, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.